Squirrels, the dark side of gardening, an inside look at one gardener's lonely battle to overcome his own normalcy bias, protect his vegetable harvest, and reclaim his love of gardening from the extremely well-organized, efficient, and ruthless squirrel cartel. So if you want to keep squirrels out of your garden, stick around because I've tried everything and I found the one thing that works. You know, I used to think that squirrels were just a bunch of cute, furry little creatures that ran around randomly on the trees in the backyard. But when I became a gardener, it all started a couple years ago when my peach tree finally began to bear fruit. Fresh peaches everywhere and plenty of peach preserves. But then one spring, I noticed an occasional squirrel jump in, remove a peach, and then run away with it. No big deal, I thought. It's only a peach or two. In hindsight, I now realize that those were an elite group of scouts that took the peaches back to the High Council for analysis and discussion. Their decision made, the onslaught began. A steady stream of ravaging squirrels soon descended on my peach tree. As the number of peaches dwindled, I sprang into action and logged on to YouTube to look for a solution. We already had a dog, Harvey, who hated squirrels with a passion, so I decided to bring him into play. For a short while, it worked. The squirrels stayed away. But soon the squirrels launched several small probing incursions while furry little observers watched, recorded, tracked, analyzed, and reported on the data. When was the dog in the house? What was the dog's reaction time? How close could they let him get before having to climb to safety? Very quickly, safe operating parameters were established and the large-scale assaults resumed. Harvey put up a brave fight, but was only rewarded by the squirrel eating the peaches in plain sight and then pelting him with the pits. Next, I tried several organic squirrel repellents. One smelled like rotten eggs and really had no effect other than making our backyard smell funky. The other was cayenne pepper based, and it had no effect other than that time I misjudged the wind direction and pepper sprayed myself. I purchased and installed several small motion activated devices that when activated supposedly emitted an ultrasonic sound that would drive the squirrels away. Nope. I tried wrapping the tree in bird netting, but eventually one of their sappers would discover the slightest gap in my defenses. An expeditionary unit would then enter and dislodge some peaches, while another group would carry away their bounty. The situation was getting dire. The peaches were dwindling, and the squirrels were getting stronger. So I took things to the next level and bought this guy, the plastic owl. For about 2 weeks, I really thought we had our answer, but still they watched. And it was at this point that I began to wonder what kind of powerful co-conspirators they might be working with. Even the most hardened fighters would not get close to the fierce plastic bird of prey. I can imagine them calling an emergency meeting. We don't feel it's prudent to send our best troops in against the mighty beast, but we must have the peaches. Let's send Charlie. Yeah, that's the ticket. Hey, Charlie, come here. Now, Charlie the squirrel had apparently run afoul of his superiors or was just not one of their best and brightest. But over the next few days, I watched as Charlie slowly and gradually approached the plastic owl, moving a little bit closer each time. I'll never forget the day that I saw Charlie get right up next to the plastic owl, sniff it, give a little squirrel smile, jump into the peach tree, grab a peach, jump back over, and sit on the plastic owl's head eating the peach. So much for the plastic owl. Stupid plastic owl, all it ever did really was startle me every time I caught it in my peripheral vision when I came out with my coffee in the morning. Now I was getting desperate and even considered more lethal approaches. I didn't think having some kind of poison out in the yard was a very good idea, and I was told by people supposedly in the know that the Red Ryder BB gun option would at best net you one or two of enemy combatants before they finally adapted and only came out at nighttime. So basically, I just gave in to their demands. The squirrels kept the peach tree, but at least I kept my vegetable garden. But then last spring, the truce was broken, and the squirrels advanced into my vegetable garden. Soon I was finding half-eaten tomatoes left at my back door as a warning. Onions and carrots were dug up. Even cantaloupe and watermelon were ripped off the vine, had a few bites taken out of them, and then discarded into the yard. I mean, this had to end. So after doing some more research, I came across a product that really showed promise. It was less than lethal, but seemed to be very effective. The Squirrelinator. Me with a name like that? It had to be awesome. It's basically a cage you put on the ground, put some bait in, and then a little trap door lets the squirrels in, but not out. Perfect. I planned exactly where to put it and what bait to use. A fresh peach, of course. But then it dawned on me, once you catch them, you've got to do something with them. No problem. I'll just release them somewhere far away from my garden. Yeah, that's it. They could resettle there, start new lives with new identities, kind of like a witness protection program for squirrels. But how do you get them there? Let me see. A cage full of highly agitated, well-organized squirrels with full bladders in the back seat of my car. What could possibly go wrong? Well, you see, officer, I had this cage full of squirrels in the back seat and, maybe not, but maybe someone who's much more level-headed and responsible than me, maybe someone who's even a better driver than me. So I asked my wife, honey, I've always considered you to be very level-headed and responsible, and you've always been an excellent driver. Well, that didn't really pan out. If I couldn't relocate them, I'd have to dispose of them. I didn't think the garbage man would appreciate trying to empty a bin full of live squirrels, and I just couldn't see myself double tapping them in the back of their little squirrel heads. So the Squirrelator sits, unused, still in its box, in the garage under the Christmas decorations, silently mocking me. But I have found the solution that really works. Rather than trying to cage the squirrels, I basically cage my vegetable garden beds. So I guess it was a win-win. The squirrels kept the peach tree, but I got my garden and my peace of mind back. And what? Hey, you furry little... Get out of my apple tree. Come on.